fear inside. Yeah, you've got a job, you have some bills to pay, but you're never gonna make it up. You feel like the only one. Yeah, you're never gonna make it up. So you feel like a victim. So you feel like a victim. You wanna run, don't wanna face the shame that you tried so hard, tried to get ahead. Nothing to show but pink papers in the mail. Yeah, try hard now, just living day to day. But will it be enough? 'Cause I feel like the only one. Yeah, will it be enough? Don't wanna feel like a victim. Don't wanna feel like a victim. Will it be enough? 'Cause I feel like the only one. Yeah, will it be enough? Don't wanna feel like a victim. Don't wanna feel like a victim. All right, that was a song called The Victim. But coming up next, this one is called Ray of Sunshine. You ready, John?
Listo, listo.
Ray of sunshine, hey, where did you go? Ray of sunshine, hey, where did you go? I pray you come back. This one's called The Girl.
.3 KXCI Tucson. My name is Sophie Gibson Rush. I am so happy to be here in Studio 2A, joined by Belinda Esquer and John Dioria. And look at that, I just stole your jobs and introduced you. But do you want to just say what you play real quick?
You want to go first? You have so many more things than I do.
That's true.
I play guitar, I play keys, and the drums. I'm not playing them for you live, but those drums I recorded in the studio.
Because you would have to be a spider to do that.
Yeah.
Many more arms.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I play the bass guitar and carry some of the heavier things into gigs.
Invaluable.
Very important, yes.
Yeah.
It's the double hitter, you know.
Yeah. So we are gathered here this evening ahead of the release of The Girl, which is your third solo album, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which makes me think that for you, like expressing yourself, there's like talking and then there's songwriting. Is that true, or am I exaggerating?
That for me, it's very different. I mean, with songs, you can say things that you can't really put in a conversation with someone. I think it's my special way of being able to communicate those feelings that you can never talk about, really.
Do you have like a strong impulse, like something will happen and you'll be like, oh, I have to go write a song about that right away? And
it's
what
really
is
weird.
It?
But yes, and it's taken a long time to understand the process. Even as a songwriter, you never really get it until I feel like much older. And then you start to understand, oh, wow, like this urge I have, that's a song coming. Like, I know there's some feelings I need to work through. And for me, sitting down and just putting a guitar in my hands or sitting by the piano, all those chords like bring up those feelings, and I'm able to express myself that way. But it's weird. It's like a tingling, almost like a spider sense. Yeah. Just like, oh, it's coming. I feel it in the wind. It's coming.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a TED Talk maybe that's like in the back of my mind about this woman having the feeling that she's like running, and she's running ahead of the poem. And if the poem catches her, then it's going to go through her and leave her. But if she stays ahead of it and puts her pen to the page before it gets to her, then it's like a race.
And there's so many songs that I write because I'm working through an issue, and I just throw it away. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm good. I let that out, and the song's garbage, But
she works so quickly. What I always like to say is that what happens so many times, we'll have a gig on a Friday night, and we'll have a long talk about something, or that week, she'll have something on her mind, and we'll have a talk about it, and then she wakes up extremely early. I do not. And she'll text me at 5 a.m. and be like, hey, I think I have a song idea. And then at noon, she'll send me a completed song with everything but bass. And I'm just like, how did that happen? And then
drums and keys, little tiny little
everything
whistles.
She's like, I'm still putting the strings on it. And I'm doing backing tracks. And then sure enough, like I'll put a bass line to it and then we play it that night. So it's like she's insanely prolific, and she can articulate those things, kind of like you said. It's almost like might be easier through songwriting.
Yeah.
Odd though is that when I was younger, I was not prolific at all. I was frightened that I wasn't ever going to get anywhere because I could hardly write. I couldn't concentrate enough to put a song together. And it took me a really long time to understand myself. And then once I went solo, it felt like the floodgates just opened, and I was able to just pour all this into my songs.
Yeah.
You
albums. Said that you couldn't concentrate long enough. Does that tie into writing songs in like 4 hours where you just work really, really hard and that way you don't have time to let your mind wander or do something else?
I think before I was just scared. I cared too much about it sounding this way or that way, and I criticized myself so much. That was really it.
Yeah.
Where I couldn't really come to believe in myself enough to think that it was any good.
Yeah.
And it takes being also around someone like John Dioria, who is so encouraging and will give me the honest truth. He'll say, you should try maybe a little bit more this way, or sometimes he's like, that's dope, let's go for it. And that's a great relationship to help foster that creativity.
Usually it's the latter. It's very rare that then again, you write so many songs. Sometimes I'll be like, are we going to do that one? You're like, we're never going to do that one. I'm like, well, I like that one. So I get attached to them. So.
Ray of sunshine.
Yeah. See? Sometimes I have to fight to get them back.
It's a great place to be in as a band, though. It's like, what?
We're like shredding material.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which ones are we going to put on the album?
Cover songs that we tried doing, and then I'm just like, never again.
Never again. And I'm like, I'd learn that. Like, I took time to learn that. I like it.
I worked really hard.
I feel bad.
Sorry. Was there you mentioned going solo, but was there like a light bulb moment where you realized, oh, I'm a songwriter, I can inhabit this, I'm allowed to do this?
Yes. And I was in several bands as songwriter. I co-wrote some songs, and then I wrote some songs. I brought them to my bands. And what I felt with my last project was feeling sort of like I had so much to say. So much was going on in my personal life that for me there was this great urge to write and put it down. And having a bandmate at the time, it was Head of Heart, that person is not on the same level. That person has their own thing going on, and it's really hard to work together if one person just has so much they want to say and do, and the other person is just kind of not in that place, So that was the moment for me. I was like, oh, this is something that I need to do on my own. And that was the moment, is just not being able to work as a band. I figured that's my cue to start doing things on my own. And that's how that started. Reading the signs.
It also occurs to me that, like, as a band, you're always going to sound like a band. But as a solo project, you can sound the way that you feel inside.
Exactly. And you have pretty much the right to do whatever you want. You can turn it into hip hop if you want, a rap song, whatever, a poem.
Is that a teaser, Belinda? You gonna start rhyming?
That's the 4th album.
The hip hop song.
Soon coming.
No, it's just that's the difference between being solo and having a band. Is you're expressing your own soul, not as a group. What you have to say. That's definitely one of the reasons why I pursued this.
Yeah, and it's been going great. 3 albums. You perform out a lot. Any wonderful performance stories from the past couple of years that you? Actually, wait. What was it like the very first time you performed solo?
I was very nervous, much like I am right now. My throat is a little dry.
I'm real nervous too. It's okay.
Neither of you seem it. That's good.
Okay, good.
It's interesting because I'm in here and there's cameras, and I'm more nervous than if I'm playing in front of a crowd. I don't know what it is, but my throat is just dry. And I felt much like this. It was at Hermanos, actually, on 4th Avenue. And it was a kind of a hot mess. You weren't playing with me at that time.
Yeah, you were totally solo, right?
Yeah. And I was still figuring out the backing track situation. And I had this big, bulky little 16-track recorder, digital, just... And I would have to load the song, so it would take a good solid minute between songs. And I figured early on that setup's just not going to work.
Yeah, we can put that to bed.
It was pretty frightening.
But you got through it.
Yeah.
And we'll get through this looking lovely for the cameras. For those listening at home, you can also tune in Cox Channel 20. So come see how nervous we are. You guys want to hop into another 3 songs? Yeah.
Yes,
Sounds good to me.
Sure do.
Take it away.
All right. The song is called Back to Us.
The day's gone, just like the one before. We're spinning toward our fate slowly, and I'm just trying to get back, trying to get back to us, to us. Connecting all the time, just trying to stay in touch, sleeping more each day, depressed and trying to get back, trying to get back to us, to us. Try to stay sane, and I'm drinking all the time, but the summer days seem longer when you're not here.
my love.
It's okay, I know that we're struggling. There's some money I'm missing in the bank, and I knew that we're having the hardest things about the past. Here you come back again to tell your story. Here you confront the demons that you left. Just like you, put all the blame and hurt on someone else, and I disappear into the sea with all my sorrows. Or I could be the change and just stay.
You're tuned into 91.3 KXCI Tucson, here live in Studio 2A. Belinda Esquer, joined by John Dioria on a beautiful aqua blue bass.
Yeah.
The thing is lovely.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Isn't it? I feel like isn't it like a custom color?
It is,
specifically for John Dioria.
It's called Daphne Blue, but but it was designed for me just personally, I'm just kidding. No. It's been around forever, but I enjoy it a lot. So thank you for that.
No problem. Belinda, what was that song called? I really liked it.
The last one was called Say.
Say. Mm-hmm. And is that off of The Girl? It is. It's number 10 on The Girl, which we are here talking about ahead of its release. Is it released on the 24th, or is that just the
Correct.
party? Yeah. And it's released on CD. Where else?
Online, I think Amazon and iTunes, Spotify,
All the places.
all over the place. Yeah,
Cool.
and actually your local shop, Wooden Tooth Records.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank
So
you.
awesome. I want to talk about recording this album, but I want to go back to like the very beginning. When you get an idea and you're writing a song, you say on Facebook that you're a multi-instrumentalist, which made me roll my eyes because you're like, you play so many instruments and it's so cool. But I was wondering what your process is, because I know that you lay down all the drum tracks for all of your songs. When you're just at home with your computer and your mics and all of your instruments, how does that play out? What do you do?
It's very, very weird. And it usually is like an entire day process because I tend to obsess about about the song. No, I do. So really I get and this is something I did recently, so it's kind of fresh. I sit down and I think about what I want to say. Like, what am I feeling? I actually sit down and I start thinking, like, oh, what does this make me feel? And I'm playing the piano or I'm strumming the guitar, and then somehow it connects, and I start just to talk, and I say random things that pop into my head, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of is what I mean to say. Okay, and so I revise that enough to where there's a format. I'm like, okay, maybe here I'll just stick a chorus. What would that chorus be? And so, it takes hours and hours because, like I said, I obsess. And then from there, I add tambourine to help me. So I figure out the tempo that I want to, have, because I need to have, click to lay down the drums.
She's
and
big
so
on tambourine.
I love
Very big on
tambourine. I actually had a discussion about this recently. It's so important. It adds such energy. Anyhow,
Side note.
so the tambourine helps me listen to the click. It's a little clearer. And then I sit down, I lay drums. I probably go through about half hour of figuring out what I want the drums to sound like. Then
Secretly one of Tucson's best drummers, Belinda Esquer. Seriously.
bless your heart. That is so sweet.
I think
Which
so.
is funny. I don't really play them live.
I know.
Which I really want to. I was just talking to Clay.
Yeah.
He's in the back here, Clay Dudash.
Thank you, Clay, for doing all that you're doing.
Yes. It was
Clay.
really exciting to see him, a local artist. And I'm like, Clay, let me play drums for you. And he said, okay.
Yeah. Let's
So
get
this is a
this
good start.
started. I'll manage. I'll be your manager.
Okay.
I want to be a
You'll
part of
play
it.
too. You'll
John,
play too.
you in on this too?
I'm in.
Great.
That's the exciting
Done.
part about being in Tucson. I love the atmosphere. I
Yeah.
love the community. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Of course.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so back to business.
Okay,
You lay
yes.
down the drum track.
Yes. So once I have, either keys or guitar going, the drums, tambourine, shaker, whatever really it calls for. Triangle.
Do you have like a third grade music teacher, like bin of shakers?
like I'm,
Recorder,
whistles and
I'm
stuff.
building up
kazoo.
my collection
Yeah.
slowly.
Cool.
And then from there, I lay. So all of this is rough. So I go back and kind of finesse it and lay down a really good take of either the guitar or the piano. Then backup vocals. It takes me another hour to figure out harmonies because that's not my forte. Harmony is not what I do. So it takes me a long time to figure it out.
Huh.
And then I think I just send it over to John.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's your
She
turn
used
now.
to do bass, and then I kind of weaseled my way into
My
that.
bass is
wonder why.
nothing compared to
You know,
you, sir.
yeah.
So.
No.
Yeah.
And then strings last, I feel. She and I,
Yeah.
we're suckers for strings, and I'm always like, you should put strings on it. And she,
Sophie.
Oh,
Oh my God,
now we
Sophie.
have, see?
I'm outed.
circle.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I know,
I love
amazing
strings.
player.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Sophie.
Especially, I mean, I think the genre that you're functioning in, which I hesitate to label it, but it definitely has pop somewhere at the top there. Strings in pop songs are just to die for.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're like
I
something
love
from right from the heart.
To me, it adds just a level of sadness. It's weird, but to me, that really explains the song. Like, if there's this really tender, string part, I don't know, I'm very bad at describing this.
Yeah.
It just melts my heart. I'm like, that's how I feel. So I try to use that as much as possible.
We all have a tiny violin in our head.
It's true.
So you have this kind of rough track, and this album, was it recorded at in a different way than you? What was the recording process? The professional
Well,
recording process.
I got all those homemade demos together, and I took them to Jim Waters. And I said, Jim,
Over at
you know,
Waterworks?
over at Waterworks. I said, here are some demos. Do you wanna record? Are you even available?
Had you ever worked with him before?
Yes, a long
Yeah.
time ago. He recorded the album for Yard Sale Heart. That
Oh,
was like
boy.
my first band.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I went in there and I explained to him what I do and how I work, because I imagine it's a little different than what he's used to. I'm sure he's used to, or I felt like he was used to just bands going in there and recording it, all at the same room, all at the same time. And I can't do that, obviously, if I'm doing all the parts. So he pretty much followed what I do, how I do it at home. And so we laid down the drums and then kind of layered on top of that.
Cool. Yeah.
He's really awesome to work with. He was willing to work really early in the morning, which I love,
Yeah.
because I'm a morning person, which annoys a lot of people. But
You're just a bluebird.
I'm like, you want to do 7 o'clock? He's like, no, let's do 9.
And I feel like I heard a rumor that you usually show up with like a breakfast sandwich for whoever you're working with.
do.
You totally do.
That's her.
I know.
That's her
that.
bartering chips.
Yeah.
That's how she gets them in early. Is,
You want
I think
coffee,
I think
right?
I heard that from
Yeah.
Stephen Tracy.
yeah.
Yes,
He was
I
just
would.
remarking on how unusual it was. So
Really?
a tip out there,
Like,
all
kinda-
Hey,
musicians.
bring them coffee, bring them breakfast. They're gonna be in there with you. Might
Yeah,
as well
it's
make
true.
them happy. And
Yeah.
It's true.
So I tend to get fascinated by technicalities. So let's leave that aside. I love that stuff though. I love like how a song comes together. I think it's fascinating. And talk about each of your albums has had kind of like a different concept. What's the big emotional, psychological concept behind this one?
Behind this one, it was understanding myself, getting to that point. So the girl is really, I'm just talking about myself. So a lot of these songs kind of, to me, explain who I am. For instance, the song "The Girl," I believe I that was the last one of the first three, set of three that we did, where I'm saying I'm not the girl that you want me to be. I have my soul and I have my dignity. Just because I've been faced with these crazy, I have these crazy stories of just people I've encountered in this career, people that say, oh, I want to manage you. Oh, I want to, and it turns out to be scary situations, and it happens to a lot of women. And that song, I'm trying to explain, like, I didn't go that route. That I've seen a lot of people go that route, where you're trusting in these quote unquote people that want to help you. And I've just kind of tried to be myself, try to keep it real, for lack of a better term. But it's been a huge process. I used to hate the sound of my own voice. Like, I was like, John Lennon, kind of trying to hide it as much as possible. Yeah. I know it's pretentious to say like John Lennon, but I know he used to hate the sound of his own voice too. He would put all of these different vocal effects and stuff. And I hated how I did harmony. I hated everything. And then I got to the point where I was like, I'm okay with this. I'm not going to be the best out there. I'm not going to do anything for anybody else except myself. And I think that's what I poured into this album. The other albums were really about what I was going through at that time. I was having kind of issues, personal issues. My family was just in turmoil. I don't want to bring in too sad of a story, but I don't speak with my father. We haven't spoken for a long time. So you can imagine that is sort of like a huge, a lot of songs were written about that. Yeah.
And also it's like one of those universal things where a lot of artists write a lot of songs about that. So you're also connecting with like the enormous spectrum of artistic expression. Like, I miss this. I need this. I write song now.
And it seems like it's self-therapy. It's like self-soothing. You put it out there, and then once it's out, it kind of helps heal you. And if it helps heal other people, that's a beautiful thing.
I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Really, to connect with people. Yeah. See, this is what I'm feeling, putting that out there.
Yeah.
And hope that it helps somebody going through something maybe similar.
And it probably only works, like it only really connects and lands if you've decided to be okay with yourself in the way that you're just describing. And people will always notice authenticity.
I'm 30 now. I know. Scary to say that to the whole world. I'm 30 now. Okay, I'm okay with who I am. I wasn't before, but now I am.
Congratulations on 30. 30 is a big deal.
Celebration. This album's the celebration of that.
Yeah. It definitely seems like a more, not more, but an optimistic concept. Like, this is moving forward for me.
It's a hard process, and I think I can't even stress this enough. Like, for women, it's just so much harder, especially in the music scene. I remember I just had finished a show, and I was approached by we won't use his name, but there was a fellow musician, male musician, and he said immediately after I got off the stage, "You should try doing this instead of what you're doing." Just initially when I got off the stage, oh, you should play drums more like this. Oh, you should do this. And always projecting their idea of what I should do. And I came to the point where I just realized this is stupid. I'm sorry. This is silly that they're telling me who I need to be.
Girl.
And it's very common.
You don't have to tell me twice. Yeah.
In one of my recording sessions, actually, a gentleman came in, actually the same person, sat down during my recording time and started criticizing how I was playing drums. And I could not believe how entitled some people feel that, hey, I'm going to sit in your recording session that you're paying for and doing on your own, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents even though you didn't ask for them. And I just felt like enough is enough. You know, we have to stand up and say, I'm not going to play it the way you want ever, probably. And I'm okay with that. I don't need you to tell me what you want to hear. You know, you go do that.
Yeah.
And it's just, like I said, it's taken a long time to get that way.
Well, hopefully the people who need to hear it get to listen to the album.
Girls, you stand up for yourselves out there, okay?
Yeah.
Do it.
And real quick before we start back into the music, the show at Flycatcher on the 24th, right? I've been saying that.
Correct.
Okay,
This
good.
Saturday, yeah.
What can people expect? It's a release show. It's a party. What else?
Yes, I'm actually going to play with a full band. You're not going to hear backing tracks. So that's different.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've enlisted the help of some folks. Frank Giuliano, Jeff
Welter on drums.
Chelsea McFeeters is going to do backup vocals.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and John's going to be there too, right, John?
I'll be there.
Oh, good.
Probably. I might. Yeah, I'll free it up, but I'll be there.
Yeah, we have Rival Shapes also as part of the
Yeah.
show.
Nice.
Who I got to watch and hear with you, which is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Love them.
And
Love
Sean Louie will be
Yes.
opening the show.
Well,
So it'll be a great night.
goodness.
Yeah. Calm down.
Cool. And that's at Flycatcher. Starts at
9.
amazing. All right. Well, you did me a huge favor and added Some Say to this next set. So I'm super excited.
It was part of the next one, but I'll play it next.
Oh.
I'll play it.
No, you don't have to play it next. Just in the next
This
set.
is one of Sophie's favorites.
Are we doing
Thank you,
Some
Sophie.
Say? Switch it up.
Here we go.
You can sing along.
Those days of laughing are over. Those days of hiding the truth to up. Some say that keeping you with me might fare me better. They can't see no is broken, but push the door and you'll see. It's so sad to watch you go, and I know you belong with someone else. It's so sad to let it all go, and I know you were wrong and now those days of waking at midnight, pray that you'd come home. I'd call you on the phone, but some say that keeping the faith might change your mind together and make you wanna stay. No, they can see. Push the door and you'll see. It's so sad to watch you go, and I know you belong to someone else. It's so sad to let it all go, and I know you were wrong and
This one coming up is called The Crash.
picture the happy times and all the things that you shared with me. I wanna think that it was all just a dream. You never left. How can I? How can I? How can I forget? But it was hope was in my eyes. I couldn't see. It was just a lie. I couldn't see the crash inside of me.
All right, deciding which one. This one that coming up is called I Keep Forgetting to Let Go.
It's hard to imagine where we go from here. The things you believed in have all but disappeared, and the lies you told. Your darkness is unfolding, and I'm scared to go near you now. So keep me away. I cannot control myself and keep me away. Can't you see that I keep forgetting to let go? I keep forgetting to let go. It's been 10 years, all this up and down. Here we go again, a story I don't see that there's an end. In 10 years, I don't see a thing that has ever changed for us. I don't see that there's an end. So keep me away. I cannot contain myself, but keep me away. Can't you see that I keep forgetting to let go? I keep forgetting to let go.
91.3 KXCI Tucson. My name is Sophie Gibson Rush, and you just heard nearly an hour of Belinda Esquer performing ahead of her album release, The Girl, which occurs on the 24th at Flycatcher. Thank you so much for coming in, you guys.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us. This is wonderful. I reached out to KXCI and said, hey, I have an album coming out. And I just received the best, just most warm, all right, we're here for you. And so thank you very much, KXCI.
Yeah,
we're
we're
big
all
fans of
lucky
the
to have
show.
each other. Oh,
I watch
thanks.
it all the time. I mean,
Oh, really?
mainly I'm a big fan of yours, of course, but because it's awesome.
Oh gosh, I don't know
Yeah.
what to say now, which is not my job. My job is to know what to say.
Now everyone zooms in on Sophie.
We
Let's get a
made
one
it
shot of Sophie now.
awkward.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
Doing my part.
The album is called The Girl. This was Belinda Esquer. Please do stay tuned for The Hub with Bob Girth coming up next. Thanks for tuning in to Locals Only.
Thank you, Tucson.
Thank
Thank you.
you.